יורק, תודה שחזרתם אלינו, ואנחנו עוברים לנתי קץ, אליכם מצטרפים כעת משה אלפרט, מנכ"ל סרמיס פייננשל.
כן, תודה רבה.
וגם אלן אזולאי.
תודה שחזרתם אלינו. כן, נכון, אלן אזולאי, אתם זוכרים אותו, הנה זיהו אותך. אלן אזולאי, שהיום היום הולדת שלו, העברי אגב, מזל טוב.
מזל טוב.
אלן חזר אלינו, והפעם הוא הביא איתנו גם את משה אלפרט, from Ceremian Financial, שהם כאן בניו יורק. והם רוצים לספר לנו בעצם על העבודה שהם עושים עם משקיעים בכל הנוגע ל-asset management. אנחנו נקיים את הרעיון הזה גם כן באנגלית, אני אשתדל לתרגם כמה שיותר. I'll start with you, Moshe. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. It's a really interesting, first of all, it's an interesting week, but it's an interesting climate for investors. The two of you kind of joined forces to really optimize what investors and prospective investors can do from a financial wealth management aspect, financial, personal finance, financial type of routes. Tell us in a nutshell, what is the philosophy of Ceremian Financial?
Yeah, so our approach is long-term, mainly to not get caught up in a lot of the volatility that takes place in the short term, some global politics that we're dealing with right now. Stay focused on the long-term, diversified strategy. That's our approach.
How does it translate to actual portfolio allocation, as an example?
Yeah, we look for fundamentally sound companies that are long-term, good growth aspects to them. Not to look into something that might look very promising in the short term, but something that has more fundamentally sound factors for their growth so that they can outlast these short-term fluctuations.
Got it. I'll translate for a moment. משה אומר לנו שהפירמה שלו מתעסקת יותר בהזדמנויות השקעה שהן לטווח ארוך. הוא כן אומר שיש כאן הרבה תנודתיות בשוק, אבל שהפילוסופיית ההשקעה שלו נועדה ומעוצבת בצורה כזו שאמורה לעקוף את התנודתיות הזו, ולכן הם מחפשים חברות שיש להם בסיס חזק, גם מבחינת ה-balance sheet, גם מבחינת ה-performance שלהם, וזה בעצם עוזר להם להיכנס להשקעה שאומנם עם לטווח יותר ארוך, אבל היא סולידית בהרבה ופחות חושפת רמות סיכון. I'll have you just bring the mic, but you, Alan, let me ask you something, because the two of you have joined forces to optimize what's possible for investors in the wealth management. What are some of the opportunities that lie out there right now, for money to be smart money? Because there's a reason why clients come to you both. Right, it's one thing to play around with directly with stocks, but you have this broad view. What do investors and prospective investors have to know about making smart choices for smart money nowadays?
I think it's before making any smart choices, they have to look at their financial plan. When I came to Moshe, to his company, we started off not investing right away. You don't just do that. Immediately what we did was he created for me a trust for my children, a financial plan, saw my debt, saw the mortgages, looked at the general portfolio, and then from there, after that, he navigated me from the financial planning then towards investing, whether it's a simple Roth IRA or to the index or to mutual funds, whatever it may be. So that's the real strategy of the company.
Got it. And I understand there is actually a very interesting background to how you met Moshe.
So if I may share?
Please.
So basically, I'm a big podcast guy, and I was watching for people, and I saw Moshe Alpert, and I was very intrigued. I called him up, and I didn't think to do any business or anything of that sort. I ended up becoming his client, and I said I need some financial planning. And even though I'm in finance myself, it's like the shoemaker, Right. And basically, I needed some financial planning, and the way he conducted himself from his business and also personally, it wasn't, again, a complete dive into investments. He says, Alan, this is what you're doing wrong. This is what you have to fix. This is what you have to diversify. A complete gamut of a refreshing way to look at it. You have to take yourself back and look at it from a bird's eye view and then dive into creating a diversification and creating just a general healthy way of managing the portfolio, not just for me, but for my kids as well.
Can you give us an example that's applicable to any household, not the Allen household necessarily?
I think it's getting rid of debt. Warren Buffett says you should never invest $1 until all debt is paid off. Now, how do you define debt? It could be many different ways. Is a mortgage considered debt? It all depends how one looks at it. But it's actually, I would say, getting rid of your debt, then essentially just moving towards properly investing. I think that's the healthiest way to look at it from a regular household. You shouldn't be investing in the indexes or anything of the sort until there's no credit cards and so on.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So it's been working so far?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been a great experience to the point that now, not only am I his client, but we're doing work together.
Amazing.
So
I'll translate for a moment while you translate this back. אלן אומר לנו שקודם כל אני אתחיל מהסוף, איך שהם הכירו, זה מעניין מאוד. היה לנו ככה צרכן גדול של תוכן בפודקאסטים, והוא מצא את משה אלפרט בפודקאסט של Meaningful Minute, שם גם אני אגב ראיתי את זה לפני כחודשיים-שלושה, הוא דיבר שם על כל מיני דינמיקה של ניהול משק בית, של כל מיני גישות לניהול חכם של פיננסים בימים אלה והזדמנויות, והוא פנה אליו, ומכאן כל השאר היסטוריה, הם בעצם חברו לנסות להביא את הצורך הזה בעצם למשקי בית נוספים. אלן גם סיפר איך שמשה בעצם עזר לו באופן ישיר בניהול הפיננסי שלו. שאלתי אותו איזה דוגמה הוא יכול לתת שרלוונטית למשקי בית באופן כללי, אז הוא גילה שחלק מהאסטרטגיות של משה אלפרט זה בעצם לפתור את כל החובות שיכול להיות לך בבית לפני שאתה שם השקעה חדשה בתחומים נוספים. So Moshe, back to you. On that point, we are, and we mentioned this earlier in the show, households are getting their refunds back nowadays, and I'm sure a lot of clients are asking, what do I do with this in the best proper manner? Would you indulge us in like a tactic or two that's applicable nowadays?
So I would say right off the bat, a funny thing, savings accounts is where all the money goes. People have cash. A savings account is not meant for saving. What I mean is that money in a savings account is not growing, it's not invested. In fact, it's losing money because inflation, everything's going up. So a lot of people take those refunds, put it right into their savings account, rightfully so, they're not spending it. But the truth is the best thing to do would have that money grow in some kind of long-term account where it's going to be lower risk, but going to grow consistently over the years so that the money is not just losing purchasing power in their cash account.
Do you find the markets today too volatile to put money in, or what's your take on that?
Yeah, so there's a saying out there that economists have predicted 9 out of the last 5 recessions, which basically means they can't predict anything. So the best time to invest is really now or yesterday, because we don't know where the market's going to go. What we do know is that the markets will always rebound long term. So if you want your money to grow the most, you need to have the longest time frame in the markets. So really now is the best time to invest, albeit there's short-term swings that we're going to experience.
Do you share that same sentiment with your clientele? Like investors overall, that's their sentiment right now? Or do you have to convince them? Well, there's a living example, yes.
Well, Alan, it was a testament to this. Yeah, well, I tell that to all my clients. You have to stay focused on the long term, and that's how the good investors win in the markets, is not buying or selling at the wrong times.
Amazing. So I'll translate just for a moment. שאלתי אותו על האסטרטגיות שלו, במיוחד לאנשים שיש להם ככה אקסטרה קאש כרגע, והוא באמת גילה שהיעד של המזומן זה לאו דווקא חשבונות חיסכון באקלים שלנו, גם מבחינת אינפלציונית, גם מבחינת הריביות. תוכנית חיסכון היא מפסידה, צריך למצוא את הערוץ הנכון, לשים את הכסף כדי שהיא תהיה בו תשואה כלשהי. שאלתי אותו האם לשים את הכסף בשווקים, שווקי ההון, זה משהו שהוא מרגיש שיש תנודתיות מדי. הוא אמר שכלכלנים חזו 9 מתוך 5 תקופות מיתון האחרונות, שכמובן זה אומר שהם לא יודעים על מה מדברים. אלן הוא כמובן קליינט של משה, והוא בעצם עדות חיה לכך שהוא למד על בשרו איך לעשות את זה, ועכשיו השניים האלה עובדים בכדי באמת להעביר את המסר הזה הלאה. In conclusion, I'll ask both of you, really, 2026 is, everybody tells us, you know, year of AI, year of this. If you had to choose like a punchline of from a financial planning or wealth management standpoint, what would it be, the year of? Alan, you say.
Sure, I think the year of 2026 in terms of how to invest, or
yeah, your take.
I think it's slow and steady. I think no matter what, like Moshe said, you have to invest no matter what. Markets are volatile, especially the past few months and so on. It's a complete dive into the market. You should ignore the volatility and go all in and overlook. You have to overlook it. And I think it's just low risk, diversify, and long-term hold.
Moshe, yours?
So I believe exactly as how Alan said it just now, buy and hold. But I would say one other thing to look at is the international markets. Everyone talks about the S&P 500, and they've been doing, of course, a great track record. But international markets, once we get past the geopolitics, they have a long way to grow. They have a much higher growth potential than potentially domestic markets. So international might be the way to go for 2026.
Amazing. And with that, we are out of time, but I wish I had more time to touch on Israel. On that last point, Israel surpassed the S&P year to date. אז אפרת, אנחנו נחזור אליכם בינתיים. הרבה עוד על מה לדבר, which is why I hope the two of you will be back with us later on in the year. אפרת, חזרה אלייך.
בהחלט. נתי, תודה רבה לך על הרעיון הזה.